Welcome back to Basgiath, writers. Ciao, Bella.
Hi, Blakely.
Oh, good.
I'm really
Hi.
appreciative that you said ciao, Bella, as whatever.
I called you beautiful. What do you want?
Thank you. It's so sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We want to mention that we say bad words and highly inappropriate things. Anything that we say on this podcast is not meant to be that deep.
No, my mouth tries to get us canceled at least once an episode. So it's not that serious.
If we let your brain run free, we would be canceled.
I am Ridoc. Inside thoughts should stay inside, but they don't. So welcome. Today we'll be covering chapters 16 through 20 of Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. Warning, if you have not finished Onyx Storm, stop right now. Thank you very much. Go back and finish the book ASAP, then come back to us. We'll be waiting for you. We just don't want to ruin anything for you since this podcast is full of spoilers. Do you have any notes on last week's podcast, Kai?
No, I just want to, remind people that theories can evolve, change, or be debunked. And this is fun for us. And we know that we will definitely theorize some highly unlikely things, like Kat and Violet being lesbians of Eurasia.
Nobody theorized that. You did.
But it's fun for us. Also, some theories aren't fully formed, or we aren't sharing our full theory because we aren't in the book yet. So we're just building writers. Build with us.
So you need to get your shit together. A few theories we've explored so far. The theme of the number 6 throughout the book, Theophany and Lyra connection, Garrick being a little sussy pants and possibly a part of the Venom MLM organization, Violet still having the gift of time because the ridiculous mention of heartbeats, Violet being a god or god touch, and Papa and Mama S being fully immersed in the Venom pond.
Solid sum.
Thank you. Well, I cannot wait for the sum of chapter 16.
Why?
I just wanted to say sum.
For somebody that was so against me writing sum. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Now I take it back.
All right, the sum of chapter 16. Xaden uses his shadows to try and level out the playing field, as he says with Violet, but they are essentially dancing because they are so deep in conversation in their minds, and neither of them are striking. She does a party trick and wields some lightning while Xaden drops a very serious line of, "You're the only one capable of killing me," while they are still in the shadows and he's trying to teach her about finding him without her eyes. Okay, let's talk about this.
Well, let's do it. So he says, use your pathway to track me down. I can wield from anything that casts a shadow, but no one knows the strongest threads are always my own. If you can work through them, feel their difference, you'll be able to track them when I'm in the darkness. Satan was definitely masterminding here. He was pulling a Papa S and breadcrumbing her because I feel like everything he is saying is incredibly intentional and will be needed in the next book. And it's how Vi will be able to get to him without the bond.
And he literally says, "You'll be able to track where I am in the darkness."
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're sleeping. But he says, "You need to be able to find me." He made himself invisible to her so that she would learn to search without her eyes, cluing us into her signet with her need to be connected with those she needs. I'm just so excited that I said it right. Just took a long time to say it, but I said it right. Anyways, cluing us in that she needs to be connected with those she needs all the time. Like she needs Xaden all the time. She needs Indarna. She needs to get she needs them, and this is how she's finding her way to connect with them. Like the foreshadowing was there, and it's so annoying now that we see all the signs. I still would have never guessed her signet.
Oh, any new viewers, not viewers, listeners.
Last episode?
I know, but we're getting a whole bunch of new followers here. Kylie can't say signet. She can't do it.
It's
she's a fancy dance, and she says signet. So if you're like, wow, I didn't know she was French. She's not.
I'm really trying. I am. So now I'm just like stumbling over the word, but we will get there. I mean, I conquered saying Thera. Anything's possible.
Yeah, what did you say?
In an Irish accent, in my mind, it was fair.
In an Irish accent.
Yeah, no, it's like the rest of the book was not in an accent at all, just her name when I was reading.
Moving on.
I don't have answers to why I am this way. Anyways. Our favorite squad is discussing Xaden's abilities and how it's grown, as well as other signets who's manifested. Ree mentions that first year named Lynx and Arik have not, but that Sneaky Sneak just clearly has not told the squad that he has. Dane shows up after performing some recon on Colonel Asshole's new crib, and let's find out tomorrow is the night that he will become a stealthy ninja and do her a solid.
I love Dane. I don't care. And if you have been with us from the beginning, we hated him. But the memes are true. The real enemies to lover stories is the audience with Dane.
Dane is invited to the reverse harem. He's officially invited. It's not just Z.
Mm-hmm.
Dane's got the invite.
Good. It's going to be really crowded in there, but
it's a full house.
Violet says in this that my mother was never temple-minded, and I just wonder why. Is it because she's mad that Vi was dedicated? Is it because she's venom and doesn't feel comfortable going in there anymore? I have questions.
It makes sense that she favors Dune, but yeah, why not go in? Would the steps burn if she stood on them? Because she's venom?
I don't know. I don't believe so. When you go into church, it doesn't burn. Sorry.
Just gets real hot in there. I think I start boiling from the inside.
What's that say? Sweating like a sinner in church?
I live and breathe that every Friday. So I'm kind of paying attention to who praises what gods, what they say about them. And it says, your temples to Malik and Dune are disproportionately large compared to the other gods here, except Amari, of course. That's what Traeger said, which is pretty straightforward. The god of death, the goddess of war, and the queen of gods would be common around Basgiath. And then Traeger asks, your scribes don't pay or pray to Hedion, who's the god of wisdom, for wisdom, to which Violet replied, knowledge and wisdom are two different things. Scribes are careful not to ask for what should be earned, which a reminder that Theophany offers Violet control and knowledge while keeping her dragons in chapter 11. Vi has the brain of a scribe, and she knows better than to pray for wisdom. Although she did say she stopped praying to him out of pure spite because wisdom hasn't shown up when she needed it. I'm just really curious about, like I said, everyone's relationships with the gods because they're going to be playing a bigger part. So I'm just going to keep pointing them out.
I think that's good. Keep doing.
And then she's like, once my father died, I frequented Malik's, though I spent more time yelling at him than praising. And, that one also makes sense. And, of course, Ridoc prefers Zinal. Zinal?
Zinal.
Yeah. Ridoc prefers Zinal. You can get through any situation with luck, which I feel like Ridoc seems to have a lot of luck. He says so much smart-ass shit and, lives to tell the tale. He doesn't get his ass beat. So, yeah, luck is on his side.
I understand it. I've had a lot of threats of people say they're going to beat my ass, and it's never happened to me. So I'm Ridoc, and Ridoc is me.
You know what? The next time I see you, I'm just going to beat your ass so you finally get what's coming to you. Wouldn't that be the saddest fight? I'd just laugh. I couldn't even make it across.
I would fight back.
I just can't picture you fighting. With your mouth, yeah, you're the verbal bitch, but I can't see you sparring.
I mean,
as I'm doing like this, you're gonna do fucking karate.
In sports, I did always get most aggressive, so don't count me out, Kai. All right.
Why do you get the thumbs up? It's bullshit.
The sum of chapter 17. Epigraph. My brightest light. I meant to prepare you, but only had time for half the lessons you need, half the history, half the truth, and now time runs short. I failed Brennan the day I watched him walk the parapet, failed Mara when I could not stop her from following, but I fear my death will fail you. Your mother and I trust no one, and neither can you. Recovered correspondence of Lieutenant Colonel Asher Sorengale to Violet Sorengale.
We finally learned Papa Sorrengail's name, but this is a lot to unpack. Half the lessons for what? Half the history for what? Time runs short for what? Why is allowing both your other children to be writers a failure? Why can't Vi trust anyone? Along with the cryptic, along with being fucking cryptic, Asher seems to be very into the dramas. It's all I've heard about that guy, despite never meeting him.
While I have the same questions that you do, because a lot happened here regarding Asher and his millennial vague pick me Facebook status, I can't help but notice him calling her my brightest light. Interesting, considering that she now has the power to wield lightning and she's the counterpart to essentially Duke Daddy of Darkness. I just feel like Violet will be the light in the story, especially her power, the light that's able to pull Xaden out of his darkness, and together they can defeat it.
I've been saying since Fourth Wing, for those who have stuck it out with us,
Which you
that
deserve no.
truly. I've been saying that they are the balance, that she's the light, and obviously Xaden is dark with the shadows. But I feel like this is confirming it with Asher's nickname. Like, they are yin and yang. She is the brightness, like he is the dark. I've been
It's
saying
the
it.
best. You have. Can I just tell you, when I read his name was Asher, you want to know what I think of? Asher Roth, the white rapper. I love college. Okay, Asher Roth, those songs, love them. I don't care. There's like 3 of his songs that I actually really love. I love being a millennial for this reason.
Be by Myself was such a bop. Like,
We loved Be By Myself.
I still do.
I actually danced to it not that long ago while getting ready.
I mean, the album title, wasn't it like Alone in the Bread Aisle or something like that?
I don't remember. And I never even went to college, so the fact that I love that song is interesting, but I was really good at beer pong, so
Proud
makes
of you.
sense.
Proud of you.
I have a lot of really good talents. Back to the Sum Sums. Sloaner Boner comes up to Vi after formation, telling her that she needs to talk to her. They walk up the quadrant library and they talk about the elephant that Sloane keeps putting in the room. Lilith, never Lily's death. She tells Vi that she could have stopped it, but it let it happen because she wanted to live and let the wards up. Sloaner does a subject change and tells her she has archives duty just like Liam had with her. Then she said Justinia gave her a black tote bag. Okay, back to Lilith's death. Vi lets her know that she was glad she didn't stop her because powering the stone was going to take somebody's life, and her mother made the choice she had to. You were the tool, but she gave her own life, which I think is important because it's like, no, don't take this away from Lily. I understand your guilt, but don't take it away from her.
I would tell Sloane not to feel bad for siphoning my mom, too.
Okay. Mommy is just front and center here. But yeah, agreed. But not with mine. I like mine.
You were like, this is a lot to unpack.
We could dissect that as well if you want, but
Not on this
Sloaner
podcast.
not on this podcast. Gloria will do that for you. Sloaner lets her know that Justinia picked 2 of the tomes and then another was passed by leadership first thing this morning. Of course, Dane knew that Sloaner had archive duty. Our old nemesis came through. Vi has her father's final body of work. They talk about how dumb Grady is having them head northward, which everyone thinks is idiotic. We learn about the dragon breed preferences of the Temps, which I would definitely do the dragon breed that's only likes the warm weather. You too?
Oh, yeah. Sigale is one that likes the warmer weather.
Yes.
I
Sigale
relate.
being a bitch and like warm weather.
Yes.
Vi gets in her room and unwraps her dad's research. And of course, typical nerd behavior, there's a locking mechanism that has 6 letter locks with 6 vials of ink, ready to bleed all over it if she gets the wrong answer, and a rune in the center that looks like it wants to fuck shit up. Where is Benjamin Gates when you need him? The clue reads, first love is irreplaceable. Okay, Violet, do your damn homework about runes. This is obviously going to come up like 20 different times.
To be fair, Violet sucks at runes. We knew that on Iron Flame. Like, it's not that she's hopeless, but I think it's going to take her a long time because she shit the bed in runes class. And then Kat kept, like, probably, like, made her a little bit more insecure because here's beautiful Kat doing so great at it. And here's Violet, who's so smart, and she's kind of doing a shitty job. So now she's got a complex.
Well, I do understand if you're naturally good at a lot of things and there's something you're not good at.
You're like, fuck this, I'm not doing
Yep.
it.
I have no interest in doing it. None.
I feel that.
So I get it, but I think this is important. It's been brought up so many damn times that she's even said, oh, I need to work on that. Yeah, you're going to need it in book 4 and 5. The, the squad is trying to figure out the nerd riddle while waiting for the sexy professor to start class. Oh, and Garrick is apparently sexy Professor Light. Vi and the Duke of Darkness start with some mind-to-mind sexting. Garrick starts taking on students in Fight Club, and of course he kicks their ass. Ridoc doesn't keep his inside thoughts inside, which is definitely a win for us. The squad fights together. Garrick almost accidentally takes off Vi's head. The sexy professor is big mad about that. Vi puts on a sky show. Sexy professor is impressed with her. Oh, good. Fuckboy Halden starts a slow clap because clearly Homeboy doesn't get enough attention as a royal.
This scene makes me laugh. So, well, one, congratulations, Blake. You called it. Violet dated Halden. You've been saying it since Fourth Wing. It was official. So hats off to you. I mean, credit where it's due.
Let me sketch a bow.
Not drawing it in the air. But see, even when I thought sketching a bow was like, I thought they were drawing it in the air, not
this.
Like, yeah, like they're drawing it in. I'm an idiot. That's fine. But there's the mention like, hello, who's your first love? And Violet's like, oh, I'm not happy. Oh, that's not happening. My father couldn't stand the first guy I really dated and never knew about the second. And, arcs, I able to identify, 6 letters could be Halden. But I want to know who's the guy in infantry that Violet dated? Because she's
Halden. Halden is the guy.
Halden is the one in infantry?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know who the other person is, and the fact that we don't know, that's coming up in series. Why else would it be a secret? It's weird.
I didn't realize that Halden went for infantry because of his brother. I keep thinking about his brother that died because he was going to be a dragon rider. So I'm like, this loser.
No, so Halden, and she makes a couple comments about he's actually really good on the battlefield. So Halden, yeah, remember she walks in and he's fucking the redhead professor.
That was
yeah. So
I trauma blocked Halden.
Fair. That's fair.
He gets it, into the basket though. He gets it handed back to him.
That's fucking basket.
Okay, but I do want to know who's this other guy because obviously she's got a type.
Yeah. What if it's another fucking Duke or Royal and it's like, okay, you little homie hopper, just going throughout all.
I mean, it's got to be right because she made her way around with the jump. Not she made her way around, but
yeah, not slut shaming. Vi, get yours.
No, I am very pro get it in with everyone, not her specifically. I mean, I hope everybody gets it in with somebody different. Anyways, go Blake. Garrick is leading the class and he creates a tornado. And it's things like this that make me concerned that Garrick could be potentially bad. I'm convinced he's Venom, for sure.
But not bad.
I don't know if it's for the sake of good or if he's a double agent. He could be the sibling betrayal because, he's a brother to Xaden. Or, and Berwyn makes reference to his other son. That could be Garrick. But it's just the fact that he made a tornado and then it's very similar to the one that Theophany made. It just, I'm watching Garrick. I don't know if he's good or bad, and I really hope he's good, and I'm really wrong, but there's a lot of sus moments for him.
It's fair. Fuckboy Halden and Vi have a little back and forth where we get to see his douchebaggery in all its glory. But the prick comes in with mail from Bougie BT. Bougie BT picked out some tomes and brings news that King Cortland of Deverelli has agreed to a meeting, but with noble blood only. But he wants Amelia's citrine that the queen, not at all shady Mariah, has agreed to gift but won't be responsible for its retrieval. Fuckboy Halden says that he'll make Grady change course if she's willing to get the citrine, which apparently is in occupied territory. No bigs, just beyond the wards, Ben and possibly creeping about, and a risk for our Zebebe to channel. Fuckboy Halden then starts wanting the deets about Vi's love life and then proceeds to ask Vi on a date, but big mistake. Huge. Shadows knock the fuck right in the rock wall. Oopsie daisies.
Halden is a piece of shit. Like, clearly, he's like just such a douche, but I'm calling it now. He will sacrifice himself for the good of Violet. Not this book, maybe not next book, maybe the 5th book, but I think Halden will die in an effort to save Violet. Calling it now.
So you think in all his douchebaggery down there in that little heart that he actually did love Violet in his own little way?
I do think so, because like he softens a little bit when he's talking to her, but I mean, like, he's still an absolute tool. I think he'll sacrifice himself. Like, that's his way to redeem himself.
I can see it. I'm not against that. Chapter 18, Sums. Tell me what it is, huh? What's up?
Yes, we're doing chapter 18, and I'm really excited because there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack about this. Well, there's mostly a letter that we're going to unpack, but I'm really excited for it. So Halden learned a very valuable lesson here. We keep our hands to ourselves, or Shaddy. Or Shadow Daddy will beat your ass. Not that Vi was a fan of Xaden's reaction.
I loved his reaction and him saying he was going to touch you.
Just like a small child.
He's like, what?
An hour later, they are back in Violet's room, struggling to commit to their answer for the riddle on her dad's book. They get it right with Aimster, Lilith's dragon's name.
My father's world rotated on the axis of my mother, and they didn't meet until their 3rd year. First real love would have been Aimser, and she was irreplaceable. Our entire family's happiness rested on her health and survival. So we've mentioned that we believe Lily was Venom. I feel like her dragon kept her grounded, and Papa Sorengale is what kept her humanity. She loved her kids because of their connection with Asher, but I think because she was Venom, it wasn't just like regular motherly must protect kids. It was just like a full-on need mission, and it was how she showed her love. So when Brennan died, it broke her, and then add in a few years later, Pop Sorengale dying, she was in full, fuck it, I will do whatever I have to ensure my kids' survival.
We're really building on Lily was Venom, and we're calling her Lily, and that was never her name. Inside is a history of the Second Crowland Uprising draft by Lieutenant Colonel Asher Sorengale. Written inside is, Dear Violet, it is my most sincere hope that you are reading this by my side, laughing at the glorious mess that is a first draft, but I fear that may not be the case. If I now walk alongside Malik with your brother, then guard this manuscript carefully. But if the worst has happened and your mother has joined us, then you must protect this knowledge with your very life. Within these pages, you'll find my careful study of the Second Crowland Uprising, but my daughter, remember what I taught you about history. It is simply a collection of stories, each influenced by those that happened before and steering the ones to come. I wrote this study so it could be read by others, but understood by you. If time is sweet, peruse at leisure. You'll find the connection between the uprising and the pursuit of Feathertails to be both alarming and enlightening. But if time has indeed run out and you seek the weapon to defeat those you've only learned about through lore, then abandon your robes and ride for Corden. You have always struggled with Crovelish, but I made sure Dane would be capable should you need him, should he not choose to cross the parapet this summer. If he follows in the footsteps of his father, you must find the strength to let go of your affection for him. From Corden, book passage to Deverelli. You'll be safe beyond the reach of magic there, and quietly seek the merchant Narelle Anselm. Take her the rarest item you possess. Be sure it's truly exceptional to be given what you need. Do not send another in your stead. Should you travel under the banner of Navarre, beware the king. He bears grudges and speaks only in profit. I'm so sorry this falls to you, my brightest light. Trust only Mira. Love, Dad. Let's dissect this a little. Actually, a lot. It's my most sincere hope that you're reading this by my side, laughing at the glorious mess that is a first draft. But I fear that may not be the case if I now walk alongside Malik with your brother. Then guard this manuscript carefully. But at worst, if the worst has happened and your mother has joined us, then you must protect this knowledge with your very life. He was prepared for all scenarios. We know Asher is a scribe, and so he's knowledgeable, but it seems like he really is making sure Violet is prepared no matter what path that she has taken.
It also just makes me wonder if this is his first draft. Is there an updated version out there?
Oh, one that she's going to have to go find.
Yes. Another clue by the national treasure of Basgiath.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? No. Where in the world is Violet Sorengale?
One thing that I'm wondering, what if he knew that Brennan was alive? What if he knew that Brennan was alive and the line trust only Mira is key, as well as, even though I don't have a hard on for Brennan being bad anymore, also the line about if I now walk alongside Malik with your brother. What if it's like he did the same thing that Brennan did? Like whether that turned to be Venom or was, I don't know, something's weird.
Or lied about his death, pulling a Brennan.
Right? What if he did lie about that?
We're missing something, and I cannot figure it out what we're missing. It's really frustrating.
Thanks a lot, Rebecca.
Within these pages, you'll find my careful study of the Second Croveland Uprising. But my daughter, remember what I taught you about history. It is simply a collection of stories, each influenced by those that happened before and steering the ones to come. I wrote this study so it could be read by others, but understood by you. Asher says in this letter, remember when I taught you about history, we taught them? He taught them through Fables of the Baron, a book influenced by those that came before, aka history, and steered by those to come, aka he only left it in the hands of Violet, as there are no other copies in the comprehensive library of Basgiath. I stand by he wrote by Fables of the Baron book specifically for Violet with the intention she would need it in the book for the Croveland Uprising. There's mention of like the Emerald Sea and like Kraken. And Rebecca made a mention about those that like there's other creatures in these stories. So I truly think that that is a hill I will die on. Asher wrote this fucking book.
I definitely agree. And I also, we didn't even read the epigraph for today. And in my head, I was glad that you didn't, only because I am trying to compile everything I can about the Emerald Sea, and it's going to be important. There's no doubt in my.
I definitely agree. Like, I think Papa Sorengale, maybe if he is live, could be north.
It's possible. And on top of this, when he's saying, it's just the reminder to take into consideration who is writing this history. Just in all text, sometimes I'm reading some theories and stuff that people are saying. It's like, no, remember who wrote this, guys. We can't actually believe a lot of what's being said. We have to think of what their intention it was, as well as what the fuck they're hiding.
Think about who the lead scribe was at Basgiath and still is. Who is it?
Markham.
Do you trust
why?
it?
No. Either does what she say, I trust you like a drunkard or whatever she said.
That's coming up.
As like even with the first 6, don't trust everything we have, or the letters from Lyra, or just not even just a couple people, but like we have to be really careful about believing everything as like Bible when reading this, because they're all trying to spin their own narrative and hide a lot of shit.
I think we can trust the things that people say. We just can't trust who wrote it. If time is sweet, peruse at leisure. You'll find the connection between the uprising and the pursuit of feathertails to be both alarming and enlightening. But if time has indeed run out and you seek the weapon to defeat those you've only learned about through lore, then abandon your robes and ride for Corden. He wrote a line mentioning leisure, but the tone of this whole letter seems to give the vibe that was never going to be the case. This line is really what solidifies that he wrote Fables of the Baron for his children, the weapon to defeat those you've only learned about through lore, because Fables is a fable book of the Baron is a fable book. Since it seems to be implied that he has spent a lot of time at the Isles, which include before the birth of his children. Also, why ride for Corden when Lilith is a general for Navarre and Corden is located in Poromil?
Yeah, there's a lot there. Also, I may be completely stretching here, but when he says, if time is sweet, for whatever reason, my spidey senses start tingling.
For sure, my Peter Tingle just going off. Not only does it seem like it's code for something, but weird that her dad mentions time. And time has been such a theme throughout these books for us.
When the whole sweet thing, why I thought it was weird. The first, I think it's Iron Flame. Yes, chapter 52. In the dream, the sage, or who we now believe is Berwyn, smelled something sweet on his breath, which is just a weird detail. That has to be a clue, right? I don't know.
Maybe it's
He
the
also
berries that like suppress being venom.
maybe like remember when they're on the island with Talia where the Zakia berries were poisonous. Like something's weird. And I'm fine if I'm 100% clowning in this moment. I'm totally okay with it. But I just find the sweet on his breath situation that's weird.
Yeah, because her dad is cryptic as fuck, and so every sentence has a meaning, every single one of them. So I don't think it's too far-fetched what you're saying.
Thank you.
You've always struggled with Crowblish, but I made sure Dane would be capable should you need him, should he not choose to cross the parapet this summer. If he follows in the footsteps of his father, you must find the strength to let go of your affection for him. So clearly Colonel Asshole has long time been a Venom apologist. Asher said if he follows in the footsteps of his father, you must find the strength to let go of your affection for him. This is extra funny given the conversation we know Vi has later where Xaden was assumed to be Dane.
That is funny. What a fucking mastermind. Again, grooming Dane with Crowblish so when the time comes he could help Vi if he chose to. Like he had this plan for years ahead.
It makes me worried about like what is to come if he has to be this prepared teaching somebody else's child Crowblish.
Well, yeah, no, I think we're in for a bumpy ride for book 4 and 5. But the other thing that I keep thinking about is he makes like so many comments about not being able to save his kids and having them become writers, which is interesting because everything we know about scribes is they're terrible and they're rewriting history. So why, and I understand he was a scribe, but what is it about writers that he's like, no, don't do that? Is it just because of death? Is it because of leadership up the ranks? Like, I just wonder. Or is it fucking dragons?
Oh, I think dragons are shifty as fuck.
Yeah, they are.
From Corden, book passage to Deverelli. You will be safe beyond the reach of magic there, and quietly seek the merchant Narelle Anselm. Take her the rarest item you possess. Be sure it's truly exceptional to be given what you need. Do not send another in your stead. Should you travel under the banner of Navarre, beware their king. He bears grudges and speaks only in profit. I'm so sorry this falls on you, my brightest light. Safe beyond the reach of magician Deverelli. So Deverelli is a magician now.
He was like the Chris Angel of their time.
Doves out of the hat, everything. Why does she need to be safe for magic? Is something happening to the magic? Because the balance will be thrown off thanks to Venom? Like, is it changing?
Well, remember, he thought she was going to be a scribe.
Yeah.
So he didn't think that she would have a lot of magic at her disposal.
But why would she need to be safe from it anyway?
I
Regardless
think
of what quadrant she ended up in.
I don't know. Narelle Anselm. Anselm means God's helmet, divine protection. I find that. Why did Rebecca choose that? Is she going to come up in the later books? I feel like she may. Once again, with that nickname, though, my brightest light. It,
It is weird. And then there's the warning about the king only entertaining a conversation for the sole purpose of what can I gain is not boding for a bright future for Vi, which we learn this later.
mm-hmm. Seek the weapon. And then we have the final line, trust only Mira.
Love Dad. I wonder if Mira is seeking out her seeking out her grandma, which is obviously later in the book, was a bigger part of the plan that her dad had laid out for them. He clearly did with a good inkling that Violet will figure out everything that he laid out for her. Like, wouldn't it make sense that he would do the same for Mira? Like, so he knows that Violet could trust her. He did get more time with Mira, so he would know her personality better. But like, there's got to be a reason that they say trust only Mira.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's so cryptic.
It is cryptic.
Telling you, everybody in this book speaks in fucking riddles.
We just are missing something here, but I just don't trust Mira.
I could go either way. Like, since Fourth Wing, you've built your case for Brennan. I've built mine for Mira. And I do have like a pretty decent case against Mira. But at the same time, like, why would her dad write that?
I don't. And my case for Brennan was last book. I feel like I get Brennan a little bit more from this book, even though he's not much of a focal point. I'm not on his jock as much anymore.
Give
Well,
no reason to be suspicious of him this book.
no, it makes so much more sense. We were talking about on the phone where, like with Iron Flame, I think what it really was is Brennan seemed sus because he has the secrets about Naolin and he's just trying to hide it. And then once he finds out Xaden is Venin, then he feels safe to talk about his experience and won't be so shifty.
Yeah, like I said, they'll trauma bond over their Venin boyfriends.
So Violet and Taryn have a little conversation where she's asking, safe beyond the reach of magic. And Taryn says, there's no magic beyond the continent. It's why we dragons remain. Why it's surprising the Irid left our shores. How are those Irids able to still have magic?
We are both dead set that like it's not the same type of magic as the other dragons they wield from the sky. I am married to that theme too. I wouldn't commit to shit in Iron Flame, but I am like married to theories left and right here.
I know. You are. I'm married to a couple. We're pretty much on the same page on the majority of them.
Yeah, I feel like we had contrasting views more so in Iron Flame, but like our paths are meeting on this book.
Stupid.
After Violet reads the letter, Xaden has impeccable timing and knocks at the door. But because Xaden sold part of his soul to be a part of a Venin downline, he is losing his ability to play it cool and his insecurities start showing. He's worried Violet loved Halden when she was with him, which come on, Xaden. Like she was 21. Like she is 21. It wasn't that deep with Halden. Like she was younger.
Yeah. And did you love him? And he said, I picked up on a lot of things he was thinking. And Violet's like, well, that's not how your signet works in her head. But clearly his signet power is growing.
Like I said, I think Halden will end up sacrificing himself because he does love Violet because she's the one that dumped him and then never did anything. Like she just wiped her hands clean of him and he can't stand that.
Well, and why would Xaden really care that much if Halden didn't have strong feelings for her? If it was just like he wants to fuck, be like, okay, that's annoying. That's not going to happen. But add love and knowing he's dealing with, I'm going to become full Venin. I think he knows that. And just the thought that those two could be together, I think you're right. I think Halden will sacrifice himself.
You heard it here first. And Violet she really has to remind Xaden who he is. She's like, you're Xaden Ryerson, Shadow Wielder, Duke of Tyrrendor, love of my life. You have nothing to be jealous of. And it just makes me so sad that he's losing himself. And like, she's like, no, this is you. I love you. Violet, with that speech, I love you and him too. Invite me.
Oh, God. And when Xaden says, I might have turned, but I'm still a man of my word when it comes to you, this line right here will definitely be a huge foreshadowing journey when Zebebe is full-blown Venom in the next book. Like, he is always, no matter what, going to keep his promises when it comes to Violet. Everyone else, fuck him. It's fair game. But Violet, every promise he will keep. I am convinced.
I do not disagree with you. Mark this day in history. I love arguing with you.
There you go. This will only ever be yours. You could leave me or even meet Malik, and it still would be. I made peace with knowing there's no getting over you, which he does leave her, which is awful. It's only Xaden. There's so many theories running around that she's going to be with Arik and all this stuff. No, Xaden's end. It's endgame. That is her sole purpose in life. Stop with those theories. They're nonsense.
And they're wrong. We're not writing the books, but they're wrong.
But Rebecca does allude, like, no,
well, she said that like they are endgame, so yeah, there's no way.
And plus, they're wifed up. She's wifed up now, so she's not going to be cheating on him.
Yeah, no, she's not scandalous.
No. She's not going to have a.
They start to get a little hot and heavy because the sexual tension is explosive at this point, but Xaden still doesn't trust himself. They are getting into a little fully clothed bump and grind, but Xaden pulls away, leaving Vi with female blue balls and reminding her that they are barely allowed to head to first base together. She then tells Xaden she needs to go to Deverelli, and they will use the pretense of finding Indarna's kind. But first, they need to get an artifact that is in venom-riddled land in order to get an audience with the king of Deverelli.
Whenever we say Deverelli, it reminds me of Grease 2, which his name is Nagarelli. And I can't. Every time my head just want that out there.
I go to deviled eggs. All right, I want to hear the sums of chapter 19 from you.
Can't wait to tell you. 4 nights later, the dumb JV squad is headed past the wards in Anka. The village is completely desiccated. Magic is feeling wild, and shit is just a little too quiet. Xaden is staying cool, calm, collected.
Okay, something happens here. Violet's like, my skin tingles as we slip into the valleys of the S-Bends. And I'm struck with the oddest urge to try and pluck strands from this very sky and weave runes. And she tells Taryn it feels like there's more power out here than usual. And he's like, there's actually less. The Venom saw to that. But weird, Violet, despite there being less power, you feel like you can pluck strands of power from the fucking sky? Maybe it's because you can command the power of the sky. I don't know, maybe.
I'm with you on that. Look at us, agreeing left and right.
I know. But I mean, like, I feel like that is a dead giveaway.
Giveaway. It's a dead giveaway.
You guys don't have a giveaway.
It feels like Jimmy Fallon, the Ooh Girl. It's giveaway.
It's a dead giveaway. That the magic is different. Fuck. It would have been like such a more impactful statement if I wouldn't have fucked it up.
I like the dead giveaway.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. It's really I wrote artificial instead of artifact.
Try to find the fake one.
Sorry, the giveaway got me. While they try to find the artifact, Aura is making shitty choices, taking her gloves off and acting like she will wield at any given second, even though they were under strict orders to not. Mira finds it. Oh, and so yeah, she didn't listen, and Captain Grady was torched by Aura. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Oh, and then the whole street goes up in flames.
Grady couldn't even read the map. He's like, her handwriting is atrocious. I mean, it's Imogen. Or no, it's Kat, sorry. But you would think that he would have double checked to make sure he understood before they left.
Nope, he's like bitching about it once they're there.
Yeah.
Really putting a lot of forethought into this mission. That's like past the frickin' wards. Like, good job, Grady. You're really good at this.
If you're going to need a map anywhere, it's probably going to be in a venom-riddled area. Like, you Dumb fuck. Well, literally, I wrote R.A.P. Grady, you were dumb as fuck. That's his headstone. Just kidding. We burn everything. He doesn't get one.
What kills me is how little, like, oh, yep, bitch got torched. Moving on. Like, nobody cares. They all run to town square while waiting for their dragons. Aura says it's all her fault. No shit, Sherlock. She runs for her dragon, but she was shanked by a wyvern. Too bad, so sad. Vi and Xaden run and jump on Terran like it's a getaway car. Vi strikes a wyvern and the bootleg dragon goes down.
Aura was just like so confident that she's so great. And like she can't even control her power. Like she's like, this is my fault. Grady's gone. They'll know we were here. There's no hiding a fire like this. Yeah, it is your fault. It is your fault, you dumb bitch. Like
I also just feel like it's poetic because Grady's like, no, I trust these people. And then this bitch kills him with her fucking signet.
Like literally the hot mess express of they were never the quest squad. No.
No, like it just made zero sense.
Taryn makes a mention of he's been a great deal closer when you've wielded, mentioning like Xaden being too close. She's like, nope, not thinking how he knows that. So that means Taryn has either been affected because their feelings were too intense or he took a little peeksies. Taryn might be a little perv.
Well, what's that?
An old
Voyeur?
perv. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I can't see Taryn being into humans fucking though. I just don't think that's not his porn.
No, I'm keeping the inside thoughts inside for once.
Good for you, because I was trying not to say things, so. When they get back, Mira shows her the broken necklace and then hands her a letter addressed to the lightning wielder.
Okay, Pew +1, I don't know who he was with. They were suspicious being north when they were supposed to be above the village. Like BC Boys Sabotage is playing right now. I don't trust them because they're under Venom apologist. God, I want to say Dick Dad, but it's Colonel Asshole. We just give him so many different names.
That doesn't sound like us. So in the letter, she says, Violet, just a reminder that while I want you to come of your own free will, that's what she said, I'm capable of taking you whenever I wish. That's what she said. Why do you not ask me for the answers you so desperately seek? She knew they would be there.
Just passing notes back and forth.
I just like that she doesn't say her full name. She just writes T.
She should have just addressed it as like Vi, just nickname basis.
Well, she does know her name because I mean she wrote Lightning Wielder and then starts with Violet. It's just little love letter.
Just wants to have like a Gossip Girl sesh where they talk about boys. Xaden,
I don't blame her. All of the vet in her downline are just fucking annoying. She's like, I need somebody that's powerful because these guys suck.
This is gonna be how Rhea dies. Like Theophany is like hella jealous of their friendship, and she's like, no, me. And forces them to be best friends.
Theophany's already dead.
I know, but she's gonna come back.
Okay.
Unless it's a Berwyn situation. But I mean, she said that she was desiccated. But
yeah, I think she's dead. You know, 86 from life.
You never know.
Kai, give us the sums for chapter 20.
Chapter 20. We're going to read the little excerpt. Perhaps the point of this is not to deny rebellion, but to only go to war with those you trust implicitly, subjugated the second uprising of the Croveland people by Lieutenant Colonel Asher Sorengale. So Asher is saying, sometimes conflict is necessary, this whole battle against the Venom, which is bringing all the issues with Navarre to light. These issues wouldn't have been known had Violet not been involved and started to pull out the threads. But only go to war with those you trust is interesting since he told Violet to trust no one. This whole book has had the theme of trust. Mira said not to make friends, and here Violet is with the Iron Squad, who literally can't be separated. He wrote this book for Violet to understand. It's almost as though he knew she would form bonds with people.
Mm-hmm. And like, as he says, calls her the brightest light. I just look at it also as Violet will shine a light on all the truths, and that's how they'll win this war.
She's already started to, so you're not wrong. She's your little light, not just Aphers.
No, yeah. Plus, with even like her weird communication or their weird communication, her and Xaden, I feel like when it comes down to it, Violet actually does trust Xaden, even in his venonness, especially when it comes to his love and her safety. So it's like she does actually have people she can trust.
Yeah.
But we know something's going to happen.
Take it back.
Something. Damn it.
The best squad at Basgiath is heading to the Great Hall. Ridoc wants to go and is insisting that he can keep Violet safe. He seems pretty panicked and worried about the fact that every time Violet separates from them, something goes wrong. But it's more than that. Ridoc gets pissed and splits the skin of an orange. Turns out he has also been honing in on his signet and realized he can freeze the water in brew, which makes Violet ask if he can freeze the water in someone's body, which honestly would be my first question too. He hasn't tried it, but assumes he can. Good for him.
It would not be the first question in my head at all. So
what would your first question be? Mine would be immediately, can you freeze like the liquid in a body, or can you freeze blood?
I don't think that I would have gone there.
Coming from somebody who's watched like Snap and stuff. Snap. Not Snap.
I don't. Okay, so there's a lot of theories out there that the person that turns venom at the end of the book is Ridoc. Like, it is a common people's like top 3 about Ridoc. Kylie's actually in charge of researching that because a listener asked her to. So,
and we'll get to that, when he's on the islands and there's like a more prevalent part for him. I will get to that. I promise you.
It doesn't make sense. So we hear you, listener. And I will just mention, we love it when you send us those theories. We will look into them. But one reason why I could see it is Ridoc is right here. He always wants somebody with Violet, no matter what. Ever since Athene, someone has been with Vi, besides when they went on their little sibling mission to visit Bougie BT. I could see a reason why Ridoc chooses to change to Venom so he can watch out for Violet when it comes to Xaden, have someone on the inside. He also says, it really pisses me off when you guys act like my sense of humor somehow lessens my ability to show up for our squad. I mean, with him being Venom on the inside and coming in clutch would be super fucking helpful down the line for the squad. So I feel like he thinks that he needs to prove himself to his best friends and his squad. And I could see him doing this for the sake of Violet, not necessarily out of like jealousy or anything.
Yeah. Ridoc mentions that there's only a few who can even pull water from the air as an ice wielder. So it's almost like Ridoc is one of the most powerful ice wielders, maybe potentially ever, which would give into like the god touch, maybe potentially him. I don't think Ridoc turns venom. Like, that's not because his reaction to Xaden, like, I think they start to understand why people do, but I cannot picture Ridoc turning based on how he reacted when he found out Xaden was.
I don't really either.
And he's not a very, he holds grudges.
I know, which I also understand. But this goes against my Ridoc being Venom theory, even though it's not my theory, it's other people's. But when they mention the Emerald Sea so many times, it is interesting to me, and I feel like that will come up later, where maybe Ridoc could ice whatever creature or the sea itself when they're in the future books with the Emerald Sea. So I think his signet will definitely come in handy.
Yeah, because it's so cold and tumultuous and
rough
up there. And we don't really know where Ridoc's from. We don't know much about his family, just that his dad was traveling to be safe. And so he could be from north and I don't know. We don't know much about his story, so it's really hard to infer a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, there isn't much in there about Ridoc, which we'll obviously go back through with a fine-tooth comb to try to find any details about him growing up. But I could understand why someone would use humor as a shield. Like, we could look at it that way, character analysis, but we don't really know much about his upbringing.
He probably had a lot of trauma, and that's why he's so funny.
I understand.
I really don't think he turns, but that's just me.
No, and even the mirror ball is what she first said, that's not sus to me. It's once again the using funny as a coping mechanism situation and putting on a show for people.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Ridoc has some serious trauma from his childhood, though. Because, like, if you know the lyrics of the Mirror Ball, it makes sense.
Maybe he like wasn't able to protect a sibling or his mom or something, so like the protection factor comes in.
Yeah, we'll have to really do a deep dive on Ridoc and go through.
Vi makes it to her meeting with the Scenarium. Colonel Asshole and Markham are whispering sweet nothings into Halden's ears. They are ready to start, but Mira has yet to arrive. We learn that Captain Henson, the air wielder that Grady had chose from the Lame Quest squad, has replaced Grady. Yikes. And then they want to search Eratia. Violet is pissed and says no. Markham tries to speak, but tells him he does not speak. And you go, girlfriend. Not only does she tell him that he does not speak, she says, you have the credibility of a drunkard and the integrity of a rat. You dare complain about missing 6 years of information on Eratia when you've hidden centuries of our continent's history from public knowledge? Beautiful, Violet.
Slow clap for Violet. You go, girl.
The credibility of a drunkard and the integrity of a rat. Just, I love her. I love her confidence.
I'm going to start using that about people.
It's
You have
beautiful.
the credibility record and actually, I could use that. We could use that.
Solid. I'm going to highlight that. Surprisingly, Halden sides with Violet and says that they will give it one shot, but if they fail, they will sign another commander, and refusing to continue will negate the terms of the Second Erasia Accord, which is what gave Shadow Daddy his Duke Daddy title. Violet even gets the squad of her choosing: Xaden, Mira, Ridoc, Kat, her cousin Drake Cordella, Dane, Halden, and his +1. Colonel Asshole's trying to fight her in every way that he can, but ultimately loses the battle. So a lot happens during the arguing. Violet goes off, which makes Xaden say, if I wasn't in love with you already, I would be now. And then you have Halden, who's like sitting back in his chair looking at Violet like he's never seen her before. And Taryn's like, he hasn't. He no longer knows you. And I love that there are very little mentions of Violet being frail or weak anymore. Like, no, she's a
It's
badass.
just not. Yeah, she proved herself.
She is not the same person. Like she's not the same person that obviously that walked across the parapet, but like just anybody that knew her before does not know her now.
I mean, she's no longer really insecure. She doesn't like say bad comments about herself. Like, she's just in her full reputation era.
I love it. There's a mention about a proposal to Xaden, and he's like one of about a dozen since they gave me the title back. Nothing to stress over. So Vi learns Xaden is getting proposals. So, I mean, if I were her, I'd be like, what the fuck?
And especially like, and you didn't think to tell me, but Zayden's like, means nothing to me.
And then Ridoc. Ridoc in all this, we're also proud of him. He's like, I kept the inside thoughts inside. So all this was happening during the meeting with the Scenarium. And then the real quest squad is set to leave in less than 2 days. Mira starts yelling about Drake Cordella from the Nightwing that brought down the wards of Montserrat and then ends up kneeing Drake in his griffin between his legs. She then goes in on Violet for her choice of participants in her quest squad, which, when you phrase it like Mira did, you choose your ex, your current lover, the Quadrant's resident smartass, 2 people have tried to kill you in the past year, one over said current lover, and whatever Dane is. It sounds like Violet was on drugs when she assembled her choice of Avengers. Violet seems a little hopeful because they could be days away from Andarna's family, a cure for Xaden, and solving the mystery her dad left behind in Deborelli. I am also calling that Mira and Drake both purchased tickets and are going to visit Pound Town together.
Uglies be bumping. For sure. Well, I mean, even in Iron Flame, she was like, oh, my cousin would love you. And she goes, I wouldn't fuck a writer or whatever. Or flyer, sorry.
And Mira, you're going to be fucking a flyer for sure. Like, the sexual tension's there. Hear me out. So Mira is going to fuck Drake, and Sloan and Dane are going to fuck. Yeah. All in couples left and right. And Ridoc, anything with legs.
Anything. Doesn't really matter. Got a hole? Great. Use it.
I wonder who Ridoc could end up with, because you've got Sawyer and Jacinia. I'm assuming Mira and Drake. Kat, I don't know. I'm sad for her. What if it's like Merritt? Oh my God, what if Kat and Ridoc end up together?
Can't see that one happening. Just because how hilarious Ridoc ends up being like royal.
He would
No.
have way too much fun with it. He'd get his title stripped so fast.
Be like, you have to stay at home. You can't do this. No.
Ridoc would be a stay-at-home writer. So some things we encountered in this episode, we officially learned Papa Sorrengail's name. It is Asher Sorrengail. After, waiting 2 books for this, we got it. We continue the theories, tying in gods to the story, Lilith potentially being Venin, and then, more about Garrick being sus.
What we think for the Emerald Sea. Yeah, we hit some things on there. The letter was really our big
Breakdown.
word I want. Yeah, that's it. Words.
So that's our thoughts on chapters 16 through 20. We have 2 new episodes covering chapters 21 through 30. That'll be available on the 12th. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending time with us as we go off on our tangents.
If you're enjoying listening to us, make sure to share with your book besties and subscribe wherever you're listening to. Don't forget to follow us on social media if you haven't yet on the Real Housewives of Velaris. Thanks for listening.